Watchman of Ephraim here. Let me get a sip of coffee. I'm sure I'll be rusty. Another video where I wrote a few scriptures down, but I may go wherever the Spirit may lead. I guess unorganized, but when I watch these videos after I'm done, they're not as disorganized as I think they come across. Anyways, the sixth trumpet judgment that will be coming on the earth that has not happened yet. None of the trumpet judgments have happened yet. There's going to come a time where life is going to hang in the balance. Right now, concerning the U.S. and the world stock markets and the bond markets are beginning to, melt down. The central bankers are losing control of the bond markets. There's just so much money being printed and so much debt. Guys like Gregory Mannarino, they know this. They know what's coming. When this thing goes, when the world economic system collapses, these guys are saying millions of people alone are going to die from that event alone. Isaiah 13, I'm going to make a man more rare than the gold of Ophir. It was a port on the Red Sea. It's going to come. And this nation, the United States, Ephraim, let the spirits be tested, is going to be taken out. That's what the sixth trumpet is all about. So I'm hoping this video won't be over an hour. I wish it could be done in a half hour. But this is what I want to witness here. You can find these trumpets in the prophets. So I'm going to go specifically to Hosea chapter 5 today. Yeah, and I might be all over the place today, but anyways, you could do a 3-4 hour video on this. This is the Great Tribulation, the sixth trumpet. Three verses, scriptures I want to go over that are keys to understanding what's going to go down in the future. Number one, Ecclesiastes 1:9. The thing that has been is what will be, and that which is done is what will be done or shall be done here, and there is nothing new under the sun. Or as it says here, and there is no new thing under the sun. As a matter of fact, all that which first happened are just shadows or foreshadowings. Nothing was really real in that old ancient kingdom. From Moses on down, Moses, he's just a shadow of a mediator on down in that ancient kingdom. It really begins, in the latter days. The second Exodus, so-called Exodus, or the gathering of the remnant, is what really counts here concerning the beginning of the restitution of all things. Okay? So there has to be established patterns. If not, everyone's going to kill each other concerning what's going to come upon the earth and the judgments that are coming. God doesn't change. He's going to deal with this country and the world like he's done in the past. Until we get up to the initiation of the new covenant. And when the Day of Atonement blood is applied on the earth by the kinsman redeemer. Banging my coffee cup. Okay, familiar verse here if you follow this YouTube channel. But in the days of the voice of the seventh angel, when he shall begin to sound the mystery, the sacred secret, the hidden truth of God should be finished, as he has declared to his servants, the prophets. All right, here's a direct reference to the Old Testament prophets. All Revelation is, or what's contained in Revelation, are references and allusions. I have one in my mind concerning the second death. Oh, and the lake of fire. It's an allusion. All right. So this is the last trumpet. This is the Day of Atonement trumpet. From that time forward especially, things must be finished as he declared to his servants the prophets, and actually beforehand. Allusions and references. Okay. It's a good one here. This is for the priests. Concerning the Melchizedek priesthood, and which mainstream Christianity swept under the rug. And then you're also getting these weird interpretations and lies from the Messianic and Hebrew roots movement. I plan on doing a video, I just popped in my head tomorrow, about being righteous and obedient concerning blowing shofars on the day or the feast of trumpets. It's a lie. So I'll get into that. I'm going to do a Synagogue of Satan video. It just popped into my head this morning while I was doing this one. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through the patience and comfort of the Scriptures, and Paul, when you see Scriptures, you think of ancient writings, might have hope. Well, concerning the things that are coming upon the earth, we're going to need that. You got to go back into the Scriptures, the ancient writings. Once again, Revelation. There's no quotes like you see in the epistles, right? There's no Old Testament Scripture quotes. All you have is references and allusions. This is where being a priest and seeking out what God has hidden really comes into play. All right? Let me just go down to this picture here. In Hosea chapter 5, it says a new moon will devour both Ephraim and Judah. Ephraim being the lead tribe of the northern 10 tribes of Israel, and Judah, the Jews, descended from the fourth son of Jacob, Judah being the leader of the kingdom of Judah. Just had Benjamin and Simeon inside of it, and the Levites who escaped from the northern 10 tribes and the Levites that were scattered in Judah, which I witness are the priests that are scattered in all the tribes of Israel, the 144,000. And in the world too, Gentiles. They are scattered abroad. This is a new moon sliver. What in the world did God mean? This is a mysterious saying, a sacred secret, but it ties in with Revelation and the 7 trumpets. What's a new moon sliver? That's an appointed time, commanded in Torah to observe the new moons. The new moons are the beginning of the Hebrew months. They mark the beginning of the Hebrew months. What does a new moon sliver? Again, these things are there for your learning. You're a priest. And what does a priest do? He has the knowledge of the Torah on his lips. And the common Israelite is going to seek you out in the next age and ask you, concerning these things. What did God mean in Hosea 5 that a new moon would devour both Judah and Ephraim? Well, we're going to find out. Hopefully not in a whole lot of time. Okay, let me just kind of move down the line here. Okay, United States. What is this nation? It's hidden from the world for the most part. Mainstream Christianity, which has just thrown out the Torah and the Old Testament and the Hebrew roots with the lost sheep doctrine and the two-house theology, has also destroyed. They are the destroyers of the Torah. They are the synagogue of Hasatan. They destroy everything in the Torah. And this is one of the things they destroy. The fulfillments, the promises given to Abraham, to Isaac, to Jacob, and through Jacob, Joseph's 2 sons, Ephraim and Manasseh. It's an unorganized video here. Let me just read the sixth trumpet, by the way. This is the second woe coming upon the earth. Terrible judgment. Then the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the 4 horns of the golden altar. Now listen. Why is he mentioning 4 horns of the golden altar? This is an allusion. This is a reference. What's going on here with these trumpet judgments? What's going on here? Why is he saying the 4 horns of the golden altar? This is all these trumpet judgments. This is actually the Day of Atonement. Okay, this is the Avenger of Blood here. The 4 horns of the golden altar. I'm going to be quick here. I'm not going to be. I could be very thorough. This is, if you remember, in the beginning of chapter 8, an angel has a censer with fire in it. He throws it to the earth. And he takes it from the altar, from the golden altar. These are the prayers of the saints. In chapter 6, they're under the altar. They're under the what I see as the bronze altar. They're sacrificed. They're slain. They're crying out. How long, O Yahweh, till you take vengeance upon us, on our blood? This is the avenger of blood. You can read about this in Numbers 35, and I do believe around Deuteronomy 22, forgive me, 23, in that area. If somebody was slain, the avenger of blood had the right to take vengeance. If it was a murder, if one of his kinsmen, his relatives, was murdered, but if he was innocent, if it was an accidental killing, he could flee to a city of refuge. But God commands that the avenger of blood must be the first one to lay his hands on the murderer. These are all allusions and references. Okay. This is why you see this golden altar. You see these little tidbits concerning the Ark of the Covenant being seen in heaven and all that. It's all about the Day of Atonement. This is the avenger of blood. He's taking back the earth. This is the scroll that's given to him. This could be a 5-hour video. Well, this is on the Feast of Trumpets and how he is the fulfiller of it, which I'll touch on tomorrow. You're not righteous by blowing a shofar in your backyard. He's not going to remember you because you blow a shofar in your backyard. Anyways, he's going to take vengeance on the nations. Blood is going to be spilled in this nation concerning the witness of the saints. You will not go over the cities of Israel till the Son of Man comes. Witnessing this country's destruction. Matthew 10, verse 23. Read that chapter. It's all about being persecuted and put to death. So anyways, it's the avenger of blood, taking vengeance on all the blood shed upon the earth. Because that's how atonement is made, according to the law, the shadows of things to come. Again, I could do ooh, boy. Anyways, let me just review here concerning this nation of the United States. Excuse me. Genesis 48. Let's go to verse 18 and 19. Joseph, or Israel, Jacob, lays his hands on Ephraim and Manasseh. Right hand on Ephraim, left hand on Manasseh. Puts the greater blessing on the younger. He says, let my name be named on the lads, and my fathers Abraham, Isaac, and Abraham and Isaac. Verse 19, but his father refused and said, I know, my son, I know I put my right hand on Ephraim. He also shall become a people, and he also shall be great. Whoops. Yeah, I know I have it. I hope I didn't blink it out. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought I had it next to the map of the United States. He shall be great. Great Britain. Canada. Carries the name. But truly his younger brother shall be greater than he, and his descendants shall become a multitude of nations, or a fullness of nations, or full of nations. That's what the United States were known as, these United States, before the Civil War. Commonwealths. They were like nations, banded together for a common existence, purpose. Became the greatest nation on earth, the most dominant nation. It could have conquered the earth after World War II, the only nation that had the atomic bomb. In the latter days. All right? This is the younger brother that truly became greater than the one that preceded it, the British Empire. And here we are in the last days. Corrupt from the sole of the foot to the top of the head. Okay. Anyways. The seven trumpets. Okay. I'm just going to kind of paraphrase here. Seven trumpets. This is the day of the blowing of trumpets. In Leviticus 23. We can go there real quick. You got seven trumpets. Seven trumpet judgments coming upon the earth. Okay. First trumpet. Trees and grass burned up. How much? Well, we'll see. I don't know. Return of violent volcanic activity on the earth? We will see. Mountain of fire cast into the sea. 1/3 of the creatures die, and 1/3 of the ships destroyed. Volcano collapsing into the ocean? Well, we'll see. Could it be in the Mediterranean? I don't know. We'll have to see. These are natural disasters that are coming upon the earth. The third angel, a great star, Astar, falling from heaven, burning like a torch. Asteroid strike. What happens with the fourth trumpet judgment? All these natural disasters, 1/3 of the day doesn't shine, 1/3 of the night, the stars. The daylight's diminished by 1/3. You're going to have massive starvation, crop failures, trees. That's why when this beast arises, don't harm any green thing or any tree. It's going to be scarce on the earth. Then the fifth trumpet, you have the rise of this eighth beast of Revelation 17, 18. Revelation 13. It's a red beast. Okay. Let me try to find it here. Let me go back, make sure. I know it's... There we go. Sorry about that. I should write them in order, but I threw this up again this morning. Red beast with 10 horns and 7 heads. Why is it red? Remember, Revelation, allusions, references. This is Esau rising in the last days. Going to break the yoke of his brother off his neck. What's the prophecy? I'm going to kill my brother. Remember, the thing that has been is what will be. Okay. Daniel 7:7. The beast was diverse from all the other ones. This eighth beast, there's no woman riding it because he's going to slaughter her. It's probably part of the Great Tribulation, the 200 and the 1/3 of mankind killed. This Antichrist will declare himself to be a god. And one will want direct worship. Again, we'll see how it plays out. And if I brought all these scriptures in, it could be a 3-hour video. Okay. All right. Then you have the sixth trumpet. The Euphrates River dries up, and the kings of the east come. China and all those those nations that are with China over there in, like in Southeast Asia and that. Again, we'll see how it plays out. China definitely. Okay. Mystery of God should be finished. I love that. They put that in there. As he declared to his servants, the prophets. Because Revelation chapter 20 is the millennium. That's the Feast of Tabernacles. 21:22 is the 8th day, where God is tabernacling with mankind. You wouldn't understand that unless you went back into the Torah and the prophets and pick that up. Seventh trumpet is the trumpet of Jubilee. Oop. Boy. Here we go. The earth. That's when the Messiah will take back the earth. The avenger of blood will avenge the saints' blood and all the blood shed upon the earth by this Babylonish system, which will be destroyed, the religious and political aspect of it. He takes back the earth, and the new covenant is established. The saints are raised. This is the beginning of the restitution of all things. The atonement blood is applied. The sins are taken away from the world. John 1:29. This is when the restitution of all things begins, and the creation is delivered. The bondage, the creation will be delivered into the sons of God. All right. For the restitution of all things. The shadow of this is Jericho. And the Israelites marching around the city 6 times, 6 trumpets. And the seventh day, they march around 7 times, 7 bowls of wrath. And the walls of the city collapsed, the cities of the nations fell. And that's when you will take possession of the earth along with the Messiah. Again, that old kingdom, not the real thing. Nothing real begins until the second coming. That's when it really begins to count. We've all been deceived. Me, you, everyone. We all get an F-. I was thinking the last few days. We all get an F- for how we have studied the Word of God. Anyways, got a lot on my mind, but I'm just going to be, where are we at? 28 minutes, almost 30 minutes. I really haven't gotten into any scriptures yet. That's why I'm going to just limit it to maybe just Hosea. Maybe not. Decisions. So the United States is going to get it at the 6th trumpet. And the house of Israel is going to get it at the 6th trumpet. And probably all their allies are going to get it by this red beast, which will rise at the 5th trumpet judgment. We've got 4 natural disasters yet to come. Got a little ways to go. All right. Once again, Genesis 1, 14, 17, the sun, the moon, the stars were put in place by God, number one, for appointed times, for signs, for seasons, moeds, appointed times. What about this new moon? Well, let's get into Hosea chapter 5. As he declared to his servants, the prophets. I'm going to zip through this pretty quick till we get to the verses that I want to expound on a little bit here. So a lot of this stuff has been fulfilled already, and in between, and on the edges, if you want to call that. There's things that haven't been fulfilled yet. Hear this, O priests, take heed, O house of Israel, verse 1. Give ear, O house of the king, for yours is the judgment. Because you have been a snare at Mizpah and a net spread out on Tabor. Mizpah, I do believe, near the coast in the southwest of the northern tribes. And then Tabor, a net spread out on Tabor in the northeastern part of the northern 10 tribes, or that kingdom. The revolters are deeply involved in slaughter. So this is what it's all about. Or one of the major problems here. From the southwest to the northeast, there's nothing but murder and killings and crime and wickedness and idolatry. Nothing new under the sun, once again, from the west to the east of this nation. And he's talking about the whole house of Israel here in that specific verse. There's nothing but wickedness, and it's growing every day. Everything is so corrupt. I look at the news. That's all I do every day is look at the news and what's going on in Syria. We're still there. I just want to rot. And I have to have this proved to me specifically. We can still debate about this on Facebook and YouTube concerning the identity of this country. And I have to have this proved to me before I start communicating with people outside of this YouTube channel. And I just have to have that done. The name that I took, Watchman of Ephraim, has to be proved to me. Okay? Before I start communicating with people, like appearing again on Facebook and whatever, and this has to be, the lake of fire has been, the witnesses that I began with years ago, like the restitution of all things, and I have to admit that I couldn't even explain the lake of fire, and teachers like L. Ray Smith and Ernest Martin, I threw their teachings down. I didn't even get through like 1/3 of them. I couldn't stand them. It just didn't prove anything to me. But to the Torah and to the testimony, okay, so I went into the Torah, forced back into the Torah. That's a story in itself, how that came about. Concerning the law, the Sabbath, Jesus is our Sabbath rest, without a doubt, proving that, the Day of Atonement and all that stuff, and the spirit of the law, or the Torah of the priesthood, died, raised in the heavenly places, a finished product, going to be teaching the Torah. That's all been proved to me. Okay, these are two of the great wings of my witnesses. There's one more. Man, that's got to be this right here. I have to have that proved. Anyways, I'm off track here. Wickedness from the east and to the west. Just this country is collapsing. It's in collapse. Spiritually, monetarily. That's why all your food, everything's skyrocketing. The printing of money, it's at hand here. Okay, it's just a matter of when, not if. Okay. Verse 3, I know Ephraim, and Israel is not hidden from me. Okay. Okay, so it's hidden from the world for the most part, but it's not hidden from God. Okay, this is when they went into idolatry, they lost the physical sign. The sign of the old covenant was the Sabbath day. That's why the Jews still know they're Jews. That's the old covenant shadow sign. The new covenant sign is the Spirit of God in Christ in you, doing all the work and you resting. The process of sanctification. They do not direct their deeds toward turning to their God, for the spirit of harlotry is in their midst, and they do not know Yahweh. Ugh. Ugh. I mean, I'm the least of all people, but the more I delve into the Torah, boy, we all get an F-, beginning with me. The pride of Israel testifies to his face. Therefore, Israel and Ephraim, making a distinction between Ephraim, the tribe, the lead tribe, and all his tribes, all the other tribes of the northern kingdom, there's a distinction there. Stumble in their iniquity. Judah also stumbles with them, but there will be a time period in their judgments. Ephraim will have the sixth trumpet, Judah the seventh, at the time of the seventh. That will be the Armageddon, when Jerusalem is surrounded by armies. With their flocks and herds they shall go to seek Yahweh, but they will not find him. He has withdrawn himself from them. You get these scriptures in Deuteronomy 31 and Isaiah 8. I will hide my face from them in the latter day. Well, let's hope that if this is true, I believe it's true. You better hope that he shows it to his anointed ones. They have dealt treacherously with Yahweh. Oh man, that's just thrown what we have of religion or knowledge of God out the window. For they have begotten pagan children, strange children. Hey, you want to? Let's look at picture. I'm just how about these people that get like horn implants and look at this. They have begotten strange children. Okay. I mean, you see people like with the tattoos like this and in the United States. I mean, look at these pictures of how people look today and people in the United States looking like this. Is this like a fulfillment of prophecy? They have begotten pagan children, strange children. Come on, man. How about this one? Body modifications. How about that one there? They look like... Well, we know that Satan really doesn't look like this. He's an angel of light, or he appears as an angel of light. He was the shining one, the Hallel. Look at these pictures of how people look today, with tattoos all over their body. They look like lizards. I mean, you get where God's coming at. You see where we're probably in the last days. I mean, and look at this stuff. I mean, look at this one here, man. Even gave him, whatever this is, gave himself or herself fangs. Okay? Do you see where God's coming from? Do you see why he has to judge this nation? I mean, he's got to put an end to it. I mean, children are dressing up like little kids are dressing up like girls and coming to school. This gender problem we have, a gender identity, it's getting worse. Just going to stick with Hosea, man. I don't want this to be too long. I mean, you see where I'm getting at? I mean, they have begotten strange children, pagan children. Now listen. Now a new moon shall devour them and their heritage. What is he talking about here? All right. As he declared to his servants the prophets. Well, let's let the next verse clarify it. Blow the ram's horn in Gibeah. That's just inside of Benjamin. The trumpet in Ramah. Cry aloud in Beth Aven. These are cities in Benjamin. Look behind you, O Benjamin. Notice. Ephraim shall lie desolate in the day of rebuke among the tribes of Israel. I make known what is sure. All right? What feast begins on a new moon? Passover and tabernacles begin on a full moon. Trumpets begins on the first day of the 7th month, or on a new moon. Right? Isn't that what it says in Leviticus? If you want to go there, Leviticus 23. There's your answer. Then Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, In the 7th month, on the first day of the month, you shall have a Sabbath rest, a memorial of blowing of trumpets. Blowing of trumpets. Okay. A holy convocation. You shall do no customary work on it, and you shall offer an offering made by fire to Yahweh. No. These are only shadows, and I'll show you who is the fulfiller, the true fulfiller of the Day of Trumpets. Okay, it's a memorial of blowing of trumpets. So beginning with the first trumpet, okay, up until the 10th day of the 7th month, the last trumpet, which will be blown during the Jubilee, Leviticus 25, you're going to have 7 trumpet judgments on the earth. And the first day of the 7th month is the beginning of these 7 trumpets being blown, culminating with the 7th trumpet when the Avenger of Blood has finished his day of vengeance on all the shed blood on the earth, and especially the saints. That's why you have these little illusions referring to the Day of Atonement, when it was centered around the tabernacle. Revelation 11. Okay, notice again, I mean, I didn't include these scriptures, but then the seventh angel sounded, and there were loud voices in heaven saying, the kingdoms of this world have become the kingdoms of our Lord and of his Christ, and he shall reign into the ages of the ages. And the 24 elders who sat before God on the throne, their thrones fell on their faces and worshiped God, saying, we give you thanks, O Lord God Almighty, the one who is and who was and who is to come, because you have taken your great power and reigned. The nations were angry, and your wrath has come, and the time of the dead that you should be judged, that they should be judged, dead bodies, and that you should reward your servants, the prophets, and the saints, and that those who fear your name, small and great, and should destroy those who destroy the earth. Now notice verse 19. Then the temple of God was opened in heaven, and the ark of his covenant was seen in his temple, and there were lightnings and noisings and thunderings and earthquake and great hail. The only time the ark of the covenant could be seen was on the Day of Atonement, when the high priest Aaron, or one of his descendants, high priest, went in on that day to make atonement for the children of Israel, which she foreshadowed the atonement of the world. He's giving you little references, allusions and references. Okay, the Day of Atonement. These 7 trumpets, or the Day of Trumpets, the Feast of Trumpets, begins on the first day of the 7th month, begins on a new moon. So God is tipping you concerning the 6th trumpet. The first 4 are natural disasters. The 5th one is the rise of this beast, which is a red beast. Tipping you who's red. You could read Isaiah chapter 64. About the avenger of blood, trampling down the nation, trampling down Esau. Read Isaiah 34. Read Ezekiel 35 about Esau, Edom, because you've shed the blood of the children of Israel. I'm going to shed your blood. Take vengeance. See, I could have done this a 2-hour, 3-hour video. You see how he tips you, though? All Revelation is it references and allusions, hundreds of them. All right. So on the first day of the 7th month is a new moon. God said Ephraim's going to get it. A new moon will devour him. He's tipping you to the 6th trumpet. Because that's when this beast is unleashed to kill 1/3 of mankind. Let me just go through here real quick. I'll go to this verse here, these scriptures here in a minute. 1/3 by fire to die. One-third to die by famine, pestilence. 1/3 scattered into the wind, and a sword to be drawn out after them. Ezekiel 5. And you, son of man. Why is Ezekiel called son of man or son of the dust? touched on that before. Take a sharp sword, take it as a barber's razor, and pass it over your head and your beard. Then take scales to weigh and divide the hair. You shall burn with fire 1/3 in the midst of the city when the days of the siege are finished. Then you shall take 1/3 and strike all around it with the sword. Now, you know what? I forgot. I haven't read this in a long time. Concerning famine and pestilence. I was off. Sorry about that. My memory is very bad. I had like 31 years of insomnia. And I mean, no sleep. Came back in February of 2016. My brain took a lot of pounding. 1/3 and strike it all around with the sword, and 1/3 you shall scatter in the wind. I will draw out a sword after them. You shall also take, now listen, notice, you shall also take a small number of them and bind them in the edge of your garment. What is he talking about here? The church of Philadelphia. And take some of them again and throw them into the midst of the fire and burn them in the fire. Laodicea. From there, now notice, a fire will go out into all the house of Israel. Yep. You're going to have nuclear war. One-third of mankind to be killed. You imagine. Jeremiah. See, now I'm just... Can you imagine? Now these are the words of Yahweh, speaking concerning Israel and Judah. For thus says Yahweh, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask now and see whether a man is ever in labor with child. So why do I see every man with his hands on his loins, like a woman in labor, and all faces turned pale? Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it, and it is the time of Jacob's trouble. But he shall be saved out of it. Can you imagine missiles being launched from another country? And you only have minutes to live. You'll be like a man that is in labor with child. Can you imagine the anguish, the fear? As you know, this is coming upon you. What does he say about Philadelphia? Take some of the hairs and bind them in your garment. What does he say concerning the church of Philadelphia? I will keep you from the hour of trial that's coming upon the earth. That's one of the reasons why I've kind of separated and waiting for this. I mean, it's not like I want this to happen. I mean, like, you can see the country's being destroyed. I showed you those pictures of those people. I mean, that's just only the beginning of it. We'll destroy ourselves. Oh, that's what we're going to do. God says your own wickedness is going to correct you. Okay. Benjamin. Look at the shape of Ephraim. Even with Dan, the tribe of Dan. 36 million Irish in the United States. Only 6 million in Ireland, which is the tribe of Dan, and also Denmark. Look at the shape here. Got Florida, New England, got the Great Lakes, the dip in the Great Lakes. You even have like the West Coast, don't you? Like Texas down here. Even if the tribe of Ephraim itself, the Gulf. Mexico, little tip for Texas, but even more so here, more prominent. Then you have like this West Coast, East Coast. Kind of strange, huh? Huh? Kind of like the shape, huh? Look at it. Look behind you, O Benjamin. Right? What happened? Out of the north came the Assyrians, and like 5 waves over, I don't know how many years. I have to review on that. But by 721 BC, the whole Ephraim, all the tribes were taken out. A lot of them escaped to Judah and then mixed in. But the bulk were taken out. Reassembled in these last days. Canada, United States, Northwestern Europe, Britain, the first brother Manasseh to emerge. Okay. Let me just go back here. Okay. Once again, Ephraim shall be desolate in the day of rebuke. Among the tribes of Israel I will make it known. I make known what is sure. They're going to get it the worst. Okay. The trumpet. This is the shofar trumpet. A new moon shall devour them and their heritage. What feast? What day begins on a new moon? What day begins? What feast day? What appointed time? What moed begins on the first day of the 7th month, which is a sliver moon or new moon? The Feast of Trumpets. So he's tipping you, as he declared to his servants, the prophets, what's going to go down concerning this country. That's why we're in Syria. It's a setup. Again, let everything be tested. Going to see how this plays out with Russia, because Russia's in Syria too. And no, that would, if the United States takes Syria from Russia, that's only a setup. Let me just finish it up here. NIV. This was never fulfilled. Let's just verse 13. When Ephraim saw his sickness and Judah his sores, economic destruction, it's going to flip. Then Ephraim turned to Assyria and sent to the great king for help. What are they going to go to? This revived empire, of which will be diverse, Northwestern Europe not included. Britain's out. They're out of the EU. See, their judgment's coming. They're out. They left. I knew that in 1985. They're gone. They're out of the EU. And there's friction between them. They still haven't hashed out trade agreement. I just haven't been covering it. I fell silent. Britain is out. Because the two brothers, it's going to be the time of Jacob's trouble. They're out of the EU. They're going to get it from this revived, this beast that will be diverse from all the other ones. It's going to include wherever the harlot is sitting. Latin America, that's where Esau is. Well, one of the major descendants of Esau. Hispal and Hispanus. Gonna get it. But he is not able to cure you, not able to heal your sores. For I will be like a lion to Ephraim, like a great lion to Judah. If you read the book of Joel, you'll see, blow the trumpet in Zion. That's talking about the trumpet in Zion, and the vats are overflowing. That's the grape harvest judgment there. That's beginning of the grape harvest. That's when the nations are going to begin to be put under his feet. That's the seventh and last trumpet. This is the sixth trumpet. I will tear them to pieces and go away. I will carry them off with no one to rescue them. Then I will return to my lair until they have borne their guilt and seek my face. Notice, in their misery they will earnestly seek me. Never fulfilled. They got carried out of the northern kingdom, never to return, and they never repented. This time they will repent. Why don't I just go there to Isaiah 11. Talks about the second coming of the Messiah. A shoot will come up from the stump of Jesse. From his roots a branch will bear fruit. He will not judge by what he sees with his eyes or decide by what he hears with his ears. I'm just skipping here, verse 7 or verse 6. What time period is this in Hosea 11? The wolf will live with the lamb. The leopard will lie down with the goat, the calf, and the lion, and the yearling together, and a little child will lead them. This is the actuality of all those shadows and types in the Old Covenant, the Old Testament, in the Torah. That old carnal kingdom was not the real deal. It was only a shadow. The real Exodus is coming. In that day, verse 10, the root of Jesse will stand as a banner for the peoples, the nations. The nations will rally to him. The Gentiles will rally to him. His resting place will be glorious. This is the beginning of the millennial kingdom. Okay. In that day, the Lord will reach out his hand a second time, verse 11, to reclaim the surviving remnant of his people from Assyria, from lower Egypt, from upper Egypt, from Cush, from Elam, from Babylonia, from Hamath, from the islands of the Mediterranean. This is a second. This is not the saints either. This is the remnant of the physical nations that the saints will begin to reign over. He will raise a banner for the nations and gather the exiles of Israel. He will assemble the scattered people of Judah from the four quarters of the earth. Ephraim's jealousy will vanish and Judah's enemies will be destroyed. Ephraim will not be jealous of Judah, nor Judah hostile toward Ephraim. They will swoop down on the slopes of Philistia to the west. Together they will plunder the people of the east. They will subdue Edom and Moab, and the Ammonites will be subject to them. Notice the Lord will dry up the gulf of the Egyptian sea. This is the Red Sea. With a scorching wind, he will sweep his hand over the Euphrates River. He will break it up into 7 streams so that anyone can cross over in sandals. They're coming back to this is the real Exodus. Exodus. The other one was just a shadow. Okay. Oh. He's tipping you in Hosea 5. concerning what the sixth trumpet is. A new moon's going to devour Ephraim. Let's do one more. One more. Just one more. One more. No. Jeremiah. Jeremiah 31. Concerning Ephraim. Not fulfilled yet. Verses 18 through 20. Notice. This is Ephraim by himself. I have surely heard Ephraim's moaning. You disciplined me like an unruly calf, and I have been disciplined. Restore me, and I will return, because you are the Yahweh my God. After I strayed, I repented. After I came to understand, I beat my breast. I was ashamed and humiliated, because I bore the disgrace of my youth. Is not Ephraim my son, my dear son, his firstborn, verse 9 actually, the child in whom I delight, shadow of the Messiah, taking the earth in the latter days. That's what Ephraim did. He was given the earth, the United States. Though I often speak against him, I still remember him. Therefore my heart yearns for him. I have great compassion for him, declares Yahweh. This time he's going to repent what little is left of him. But first go around shadow, he didn't. And no, these aren't the scattered, lost sheep, keeping the Torah. What a lie that is. And I expose that. Okay. This country's going to get it. God hasn't changed. The law changes, but God hasn't changed. As Messiah fulfills them, including the day of trumpets, you can see what, just a shadow having people blow shofars. But it's really, here's my tip. Let me go through these to make sure I haven't missed. Yahweh's Feast of Trumpets has begun. The new moon was sighted. Okay. All right. Here's your tip for tomorrow's, God willing, I make the video. Here's your tip concerning the fulfillment of trumpets and who blows the shofars. You're not righteous by keeping the works of the law. They're just shadows. All right. So I'm going to end it there, 1 hour and 8 minutes. Okay, I want to call this the sixth trumpet, the destruction of the USA and the house of Israel. God tips you. And even Judah, the seventh one, Armageddon. He tips you in Hosea chapter 5. Now a new moon will devour them. That's the sixth trumpet. Okay. Test all things, though. But, as he declared to his servants, the prophets, don't try to interpret Revelation on its own. Okay. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening.